Friends, a couple got stranded in a deserted desert in a very bad way, without any food or water. How they survive is very difficult to tell. In the beginning of the story, we see two couples stranded in the desert. They both fell into a pit where it was impossible to escape from. Eventually, we need to go back a little in flashback to understand how they ended up in this situation. Now we see another woman named Kadali who was planning holidays with her boyfriend David. They were very happy together, but David was more interested in his work than Kadali. Kadali had noticed this over the years, but never confronted David about it. Now both of them are on their holiday destination, and they arrive at a tourist area in the desert. In the middle of everything, Catalina and David had made plans for a dinner, but the plane reached there. However, suddenly a Chinese dish goes to the table. Kathleen hadn't ordered it. Then she goes to the man sitting at the other table. He had ordered this Chinese dish. Kathleen reaches the man, but suddenly she is debited instead. And now David took out the ring and proposed to Kathleen for marriage. It's a bit surprising, but later she said yes. They both ate and enjoyed the next day. Their plane was ready to go, and they both were going for an open desert. Kathleen was very excited for this because she had not taken any trip in the past years. She just used to hang out with David. But then David tells Kathleen that his company is going to have a very important board meeting in which his presence is very important. The meeting will last for 1 hour. Catherine understood that David will not come with her, but David says that you can go alone because he had already booked a tourist bus. So, only Kathleen had to go with some people. Kathleen was going to roam in the open desert. Inside the bus, where there were many tourists present, their attention is drawn to a man who had gone to the bar last night. Kathleen sees him and immediately goes to him. The man introduced himself and also told Kathleen that Ben is also going to the open desert, but he is not with the tourists. Kathleen's mom was advising her not to go with those people and instead go with Ben, but Ben was still a stranger to her, so Kathleen sat in the tourist bus and went there. She was not enjoying it there at all. For many years, she had done a lot of work at home, but now Kathleen did not want to miss this opportunity. So, she immediately got off the bus and sat in the jeep of the band. Now she was going to enjoy the open desert. Although Kathleen had informed the bank earlier that she is engaged, and her sister should not try to contact her when she is out. Kathleen felt very happy talking to her sister. After talking to her sister, Kathleen was feeling very happy, because she had been craving this type of adventure for so long, which David was not providing her with. By talking like this, they both spend the night there. Now here, David, who was waiting for the meeting in the hotel, suddenly gets a message that the board meeting has been canceled, and this decision was taken by their committee alone, meaning David does not necessarily have to sit in the board meeting. But David realized that the meeting did not happen, and he did not even spend time with his girlfriend. But now David has to wait for the morning. Now, when morning comes, he sees that his sister is paragliding and coming down from the mountain. When she came close to him, he received a note from the bank which said that he is to go down with his car. There was no other option for Kathleen, so she understands and starts descending the mountain. She was scared for a moment that she might fall down, but somehow she manages to descend with her car. After coming to her sister, she was a little angry because she had to reach her hotel by now. Her sister has to apologize to her, and both of them start preparing to leave from here. Here, David comes to the tourist instructor and asks where Jacqueline is. The instructor directly told him that Catherine did not come with them. She had already got off the tourist bus from here. David was very excited to hear this. On the other hand, Kaplan had stuck in the band's car rate for free. They keep pushing the bell continuously, but still she was not coming out of the car. And now they both did not have any other option because now the car place was not available. In this tension, Kaplan starts worrying a lot about what David will think. So now she picks up my water bottle in frustration. and she begins to move forward alone. But soon after, a little fear creeps in. She realizes that she cannot traverse the desert this way. That's why she goes back towards the bank. She realized that she would need to stop and be afraid a little, because every hour they would have to face a car. But even after some more time had passed, no car came by. So now Caitlin and Ben decided that they would walk with their heads held high, relying on each other. They had come from the GS road, and Caitlin follows that sign as they start walking. Meanwhile, David is very worried about his girlfriend. As soon as he learns about it, he immediately goes to the police and complains that his girlfriend is missing. But the police inform David that tourist kidnapping is quite common here, so if Caitlin has been kidnapped, it will be very difficult to find her. This news puts David under a lot of stress. He wanders through the market, trying everywhere to find Jacqueline. To confirm, David had visited Caitlin's house yesterday, but she seemed to be angry with him. Although things didn't go properly, Caitlin was not there either. On the other hand, Caitlin and Ben are accustomed to the long journey through the desert with the bank. They enjoy each other's company a lot. Ultimately, Caitlin wanted only one thing, just the bank's place. She was expecting David at the bank's place, but David, always prioritizing his work over Catherine, was nowhere to be found. As they walked, Caitlin's pain increased considerably, so they stopped for a little fear, but now a sandy storm hits them hard. To save themselves from it, Caitlin and her sister cling to each other and fall asleep. After a few hours, when the sandy storm subsides, they find each other in their arms. As soon as Catherine regains consciousness, she pushes the bank away from her. Just then, they saw a car driving a little way ahead. Both Catherine and her sister immediately ran towards the car with great joy, as if they were running away like the car. But as they advanced, they saw a very large pit in the road. This pit was so big that they couldn't even see the bottom. Seeing this, both of them became very disappointed because they knew that they would only find the car when they reached the other side of this pit. Catherine was thinking that they could cross this pit with the help of a parachute, but Ben explained to her that the wind was blowing in the opposite direction. If they tried to parachute across, there was a high chance that they would end up in the pit along with the parachute. Now they had no other option, so they started to descend into the pit. At first, everything seemed normal, but due to some stones falling, Catherine and Ben slipped and fell on a small rock. These falls caused quite a lot of injuries to Catherine's abdomen, and she couldn't even move. Now she was not able to move at all, and what needed to be done had to be done by Catherine alone. Meanwhile, David had come to the open desert with the rescue team, where he found some clues of Caitlin's whereabouts. David understood that Catherine was involved in this story, but as soon as he turned on his camera to show the recording, he saw footage of Caitlin and her sister inside the pit. Seeing this footage, David understood that he had been deceived for many days, but still, he wanted to save Catherine from any kind of difficulty. Now Caitlin finally makes the decision and starts trying to parachute into the pit. As her sister had said, the wind was blowing in the opposite direction, and now, with the parachute, they began to fall into the pit. However, since they had a parachute, Catherine did not suffer much injury upon falling down, but after a while, a small child appears in front of Catherine asking for help. Just then, the child calls her family, who had been looking for Catherine. They helped Catherine and her sister get back near their home. Caitlin had informed them all about the bank's location, making it much easier for everyone to pick them up. All these people lived in the outskirts of the desert after these incidents. After these events, Catherine and her sister became quite close to each other. Caitlin had never imagined that she would get so close to strangers. They were having quite a good time together after resting for a while. They both decided to leave from there. Catherine and Ben sat on a camel to return. David, along with the local rescue team, was continuously searching for Caitlin, but David was unaware of this. He was going with the rescue team, and they were in danger ahead. Caitlin and Ben were sitting on the camel, and as soon as they met the rescue team, all of them were taken captive. They didn't leave David either. Actually, these people used to kidnap tourists in the same way and then negotiate with them at different prices. Caitlin and David were trapped badly. All the terrorists were pointing towards Catherine and David, but just then, the bank told them that to save them, a terrorist group had taken them hostage, and David and Catherine, along with everyone else, are led into a blind alley. There, they beat them up and Catherine was badly injured. After a while, David and Caitlin were picked up, who were completely safe. Now they both started trying to get everyone out as quickly as possible. David couldn't understand why Catherine wasn't letting them out. Finally, Catherine said that it wouldn't make any difference because she had to take out the tire. Catherine's mood suddenly changed because if the bank already knew this, then why didn't it tell Ben that she was starting to like the killer too much and she just wanted to spend some time camping with him? But she couldn't even imagine that the situation would get so bad. After puncturing the tire, they tried to move forward with whatever means possible, but now Caitlin's mind was clear about some things. Caitlin gives David his ring because Catherine had found out who her real-life partner was, and now she would only stay with Ben because she loved him more than her sister. David understands this and accepts his mistake. And this is where our story ends.